And guys, thanks so much for being here. We got a studio audience, we got a great looking band, and we have pretty good looking anchors, if I don't mind saying. Welcome to the Grand Ole Opry House.
That's right.
And this has 95 years of history. There's multiple locations. There is so much history, we might have to take 4 hours instead of 3.
The Ryman was the original Grand Ole Opry. That opened up in the 40s, and then they moved here. It's larger, but they kept, we'll show you throughout the show, there's a circle, a part of the Ryman stage still here today that they moved over to this facility. They forgot
to take it, or is this intentional?
The circle is where they're inducted. It's like where Dolly has stood, where
the microphone was right there. They would stand right here, and they would sing. And so they brought it here so that every performer would always stand in the original.
And all on the outside, there's all these artifacts from all of the performers there. The stuff that they performed in, the guitars, the microphones, so much history.
Loretta Lynn's dress when you walk in, Carrie Underwood's high heels, and they show pictures of when she wore them on stage. At the
high heels were a little tight.
Right.
Just saying.
You thought about wearing them.
I thought you were supposed. I thought that was our wardrobe for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're in.
Don't touch those. They're behind glass.
No kidding. All right.
Well, by the way, one of the main reasons we're here, the only reason we're Patriot Awards.
That's right.
It's hours away instead of days and months and weeks.
That's right.
Hours away. The world's best and most deserving award show, full of ton of surprises.
Absolutely. We watch we've heard from all of our audience. We don't watch the Oscars anymore. We don't watch the Grammys anymore. Hollywood is so woke. So we decided 5 years ago to develop our own award show for the true heroes in our country. And those are the first responders. Those are many celebrities that we consider celebrities, that the NBA player, Enes Kanter's Freedom, won an award last year. People who really deserve it.
Tonight, all new awardees.
Yeah, and we get to be with you. We got our studio audience today here, and they're going to get a sneak peek of what's going to be happening.
Right, I'm so excited for the morning show host to be giving away the last award.
Right.
Fantastic. We're just going to sit there and have a wardrobe change, and that is it. Yeah. We're just going to change it to different unitards.
Can I tell them what you said?
All right,
Lawrence said he's not going to sleep. He's going to stop drinking 3 hours before the show tomorrow.
Right.
Stop drinking what?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Can I just tell you something?
What's up?
Don't ever tell Ainsley something before the show that you don't want to get on air.
I told her yesterday, so I thought she was going to forget.
I asked permission.
I think it's...
All right, we got some news to get to. Fox News alert. Congress taking action to avert a government shutdown just before Thanksgiving, Steve.
That's right, Lawrence. Speaker Mike Johnson's spending bill is headed to President Biden's desk after easily passing the Senate last night with bipartisan support. President's expected to approve the stopgap bill, which will fund the government through early next year when there will be a big fight.
And meanwhile, violent anti-Israel protests erupting. Look at that, outside of the DNC headquarters in D.C.
Oh, outside the Democratic National, unbelievable. 6 police officers hurt, 1 protester arrested. All House office buildings were completely locked down. We're going to bring you a live report from Washington in about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, while there was a lot of action on the East Coast, there's even more action and more consequential action, you would argue, on the West Coast. As China's President Xi came here for the first time in 6 years, he's attending the APEC summit. Last time he was here, he's at Mar-a-Lago. First time he's seen President Biden in a while.
Why don't we talk about some of the takeaways? I was reading an article this morning that really broke down 5 different takeaways. They agreed on climate change because both countries are the world's biggest carbon emitters. They promised to cooperate to slow methane emissions. They agreed to tackle the fentanyl trafficking. We lost, y'all, 75,000 people in America last year because of fentanyl. Then they agreed to resume military-to-military communications that were cut by China last year. And our relations with them deteriorated years ago, but it made it worse when they flew that spy balloon across America. They do say that talks will continue. They shook hands. Xi said conflict and confrontation has unbearable consequences for both sides. And then the pandas. You know, we saw those pandas leave the zoo, the National Zoo, for the first time in 23 years last month. There are only 4 pandas in the country at the Atlanta Zoo. So Xi did hint that Beijing is open to sending more pandas to our zoos.
Is that true?
Thank goodness.
Can you focus on the fentanyl first? We'll worry about the pandas down the line. I know they're huggable.
It was very interesting, though, for Mr. Xi to say, you know, the world is big enough for 2 superpowers. So that suggests there is no thaw. For the most part, they got some tiny deliverables. The fentanyl is important, and they're going to turn on the red phone again. But other than that, you know, behind the scenes, they're stabbing each other in the back. Here is Joe Biden after meeting for 4 hours at a heavily armed wedding venue in California about the meeting. Watch this.
I'm pleased to announce that after many years of being on hold, we are restarting cooperation between the United States and PRC on counter-narcotics. So today, with this new understanding, we're taking action to significantly reduce the flow of precursor chemicals and pill presses from China to the Western Hemisphere. Secondly, and this is critically important, we're reassuming military-to-military contacts, direct contacts. As a lot of you press know, follow this, that's been cut off, and it's been very worrisome.
Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is.
So there's a lot going on here. Look, it's great that they had this meeting. Number two, it's good that they reestablish communications.
The phone.
But the problem is not us heading off their B-52 bombers. That's what they're doing. The problem is not us knocking out, interdicting their destroyers. That's what they're doing. The problem is not us sending spy balloons across China. That's what they're doing.
True.
This is their problem. They're the belligerent power who seems eminently jealous of us. And I think the best example is Taiwan. What is their problem with Taiwan? This small island is remarkably productive, and the people are happy. They have freedom. They have control over their lives, and they need to crush it, and they need us out of the way.
Well, not just that. There was no mention of TikTok and the influence that is having on our kids. Yesterday, I read a piece in the Rolling Stones about this viral TikTok that's going viral. And in that TikTok, it talks about Osama bin Laden's letter to America on why he did what he did on 9/11. And this really speaks to what's happening in the country. Right. This is what he said: the creation and continuation of Israel is one of the greatest crimes you and your leaders have ever done. Each and every person whose hands have become polluted in the contribution toward this crime must pay a price. And so this is circulating on TikTok now. Of course, China knows this is happening. They want this to happen as justification on the attack of Israel from Hamas. And so they're winning the propaganda war. China is supporting them in this effort, and our president didn't mention it at all yesterday in their conversation.
And think about this, Lawrence. Think about who is doing more damage to Muslims. They have millions in concentration camps, and they're worried about Israel and a democracy where thousands of Muslims and Arabs are able to work inside Israel. They know that Israel is not the problem, but they want to make sure that there's constant unrest.
So the Chinese, thanks, Steve. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the U.S. side should take real actions to honor its commitment of not supporting Taiwan independence.
Okay.
Stop arming Taiwan and support China's peaceful reunification. China will realize reunification, and this is unstoppable.
And that's the terrifying part. The reunification is unstoppable because what that says is, okay, we're going to shake hands, we're going to have a nice dinner, take some pictures. Yeah. We will take Taiwan someday, and you're not going to.
Well, Mike Pence talked about that yesterday. He was saying that China is, they understand one thing, and that's strength.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And when you look at Joe Biden's record, it is not strong. Look at the Afghanistan. Look what is happening right now in Israel.
Right. He's sizing them up.
Ainsley, to your point about strength, I found it fascinating, and I was angry about it, that they had the streets lined up with the Chinese flag, but there was no American flags on the street as they greeted his motorcade to come through San Francisco. Right. I just don't think that's a message of strength.
The Wall Street Journal, which has been right on the money, especially of late, just says this whole thing was about sizing up what Joe Biden would do if we take Taiwan, because the next guy or the next woman will most likely be a lot tougher, especially if it's Trump.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.